Welcome, American truckers, to Trucking with Old Snapper. I'm your host, Old Snapper. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. All that good stuff that trucking YouTubers like to say. Anyway, I'm sure all of you are well aware of the talks in Washington, D.C. about speed limiters and automatic braking systems. I know the automatic braking system, there's been talk of it within the infrastructure bill, as a matter of fact. And many of us truckers are against both of these things. Recently, I set out to do a little bit of research as to why they're pushing these things in recent times. I know some drivers just like to say, well, that's what they do. They got to justify their job. They got to do this. They got to do that. And yeah, I mean, that might be some of it. But at the same time, when they go up before Congress or before the House, they have to have research backing whatever it is that they're pushing. They can't just walk up there and say, hey, we want to add this to this bill. Why? And as a matter of fact, you can watch some of these hearings whenever they do this stuff up there in Washington, D.C., and they bring all these numbers forward. And we're going to get into that here in just a minute. But I found some answers that none of us are going to like. And that's a fact. But before we get into that, we first have to be open-minded. In today's society, it's become the norm to point the finger to someone else. That makes us feel better, but it doesn't do anything for solving the issues. Also, it's easier than ever for the government to create laws because we are so divided. OTR drivers think they're better than local drivers. Local drivers think they're better than OTR drivers. Bull haulers think they're better than flatbedders. Flatbedders think they're better than dry box. The driver, the fact of it is, we all face the same struggles. We should all be supporting each other rather than turning on each other. We are all drivers facing the same challenges day in and day out. Same issues with the four-wheelers, the same issues with DOT, the same issues with different companies. I had an old school driver tell me one time that the only difference between companies is the name on the door. And there's a little bit of truth to that. We all have families depending on us to make it home safe and to make a living. We could achieve so much more if we came together rather than turning on each other. And we have to be willing to look at the issues in Washington, D.C. that they are seeing and make corrections ourselves. We cannot change the next driver, but we can set an example. With that in mind, let's get into this. Every year, there are over 500,000 truck crashes, with over 5,000 ending in death. By the way, Texas has more than any. Distracted driving and speeding, the top two causes of the accidents. Let's take a look at a clip from Inside Edition.
Experts say about every 15 minutes, a person is killed or seriously injured in an accident caused by a semi-truck. So what's behind most of these horrific accidents?
We recently hit the highway with Trooper Anthony Emery of the Indiana State Police Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Division.
The number one issue is definitely speed.
Right away, his radar caught truck drivers putting the pedal to the metal. He pulled over Big Rig.
See your license registration, please.
After Big Rig.
We'll give you a warning on it. Just ask you to slow it down for us a little bit.
This guy was clocked at 68 miles per hour in a 55.
68, that's dangerous, right? In a big truck like this.
Yes.
So you're not going to speed in the future, are you?
No. I'm just trying to run with the flow of traffic.
This trucker was also given a warning for speeding.
I wasn't paying any attention. I was trying to do my GPS, trying to get to a new place, and he said I was going faster than I thought I was.
And this driver was stopped for driving while using his phone.
Do you think that it's dangerous for you to look at your cell phone for even just a second?
Yeah, probably.
If you had to pick three things that are your top three problems that are causing these accidents, what would they be?
Speeding, following too close, and distracted driving.
What everyone has to remember is that we are...
Notice she says every 15 minutes an accident happens, which was caused by a big truck. And the driver on his phone says, yeah, maybe, when asked if that was dangerous. Look, drivers, driving 65 miles per hour is 95 feet per second. Is 95 feet far enough to kill someone or to run off the road? How much can happen in 95 feet? I think it is. I think it's more than enough. So even a quick glance at your phone could end your career, or even worse, could end your life or the life of someone around you. In conclusion, these are the statistics that they are looking at. Every time a accident happens where speed is a factor, or a driver gets a ticket for a cell phone use while driving, it puts another nail in our coffin. I heard it said by a CEO of a driverless truck manufacturer. It's in one of my videos that's a little older. Autonomous trucks don't drive distracted. They know as well that these statistics will push their technology forward. And they're banking on that. They're banking on that as well. What are your thoughts on this? What do you think about this? Now, I understand completely that we can't change another driver going by us with his foot on the dash, his laptop open on his dash, watching a movie. We can't change that. But we can make sure that us, ourselves, are not the ones that are watching a movie going down the road, that we are not on the cell phone. That when someone calls, we set our phone to where it speaks so we hear who it is that's calling. We don't have to look down there and look at it. You know, every time we do that, we prevent an accident. The more accidents we prevent, the harder it is for them to push these new laws, these new rules up in Washington, D.C. on us. You think about it, in the past 10 years, how many things have changed out here? How much stricter have they gotten on us in the past 10 years? We don't need them getting any more stricter, drivers. You know, we may not all get along. We may not all see eye to eye. We may not all like each other. But we're all doing the same job. We're all facing the same problems. We're all dealing with the same DOT officers. You know, and if you think about it out here, you got DOT against us. A lot of these companies don't care about us. We're 1,000 miles from home. So if we don't stand together, we ain't got nothing. Nothing. You know, it was harder, and I hate to say this, but it was harder in the old days for the government to push a lot of that stuff because drivers stood together more. I don't know if any of y'all ever read or saw the movies or different documentaries that have been done about the shutdowns in I think it was the late 70s, maybe early 80s, when the government was trying to push a false gas shortage. You know, drivers stuck together back then. They didn't all get along. They didn't all like each other. You know, they weren't standing in a parking lot singing Kumbaya. But they knew that they all did the same job and that it was more productive to stand together when they needed to than to be divided. And that's what they did. Anyway, I appreciate all of y'all for stopping by and watching. I'm curious to hear what y'all's thoughts are on this. And y'all take care. Stay safe. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Remember, we are all family, even if we are a whole lot dysfunctional. Thank y'all.